So this is our day 4 and we are doing engineering mathematics. Good evening all of you. Good evening engineers. Linear algebra will continue and topic is going on properties of determinants. So we'll continue the property. I have given some 2-3 properties. Now the next property is, suppose you have any determinant given like this, and in this determinant suppose you have elements here a1, a2, a3, like b1, b2, b3, like c1, c2, c3. Now in this, if you are multiplying any constant number like this, suppose here in this a you are multiplying this k, so this k will get multiplied either in single row or in single column. Any one thing you have to choose. You can choose either this one, or you can choose this one, or you can choose any one row or any one column you can choose. So if you want to send this k one side, so see here one minor mistake students may do. In case of matrix, if this thing is representing a matrix, then this k will multiply it in all the elements. But right now I am teaching determinant, so this k you will multiply either in one row or any one row, any one column. I hope you got it. But in case of matrix, this k will multiply it in all the elements. But in determinants, only one row or one column. Okay, so if you can see, if you have 3 rows here and you want to multiply k in all the 3 rows, so you should have k 3 times, like k into k into k. It means what? K power 3. If you have k power 3, then only you can send one single k to every row. Or once after sending this k to every row, it will be like this, all the k cube will get settled down with all the elements. It means it will also look like in all the columns you got 1 k also, right? In this column also, in this column also, in this column also. So your property is, how will you mention this here? Let's write down in words. Write down in words. Changing the page. Take down. If all the elements of the one row, you can say, or one column of a determinant are multiplied by same number k, the value of determinant is k times the value of given determinant. What my point is, suppose you have a here and it is loaded like a1, a2, a3 and like b1, b2, b3, something loaded. Okay, now in single row, if you are, so right now whatever is your answer coming, suppose that answer is x. Now if you multiply k here, it means what? K in any single row, then entire answer will be a new answer as k times x. What is x? X is the final determinant value of the matrix. Okay, but if you multiply k one more time, then that k will go multiply in another row. Or it's up to you, you can multiply in the same row also 2 times, no problem. So it will be k square. That is the idea. Now you see, suppose you have so many rows, another property. Suppose you have any matrix given, another property, whatever number you can just count. And suppose this A is having so many rows, like here row 1, here row 2, dot. Here you have row n. You have n number of rows. Now you also consider that it is square matrix. Square matrix means number of rows will be equal to row of columns. So you have a condition here. Condition is square matrix. Now if A is having n row and you have square matrix, and then suppose any extra constant is k, this k you are going to, it is any scalar quantity, and this k, if you are multiplying in the entire matrix A, like everywhere, if you are multiplying, like means k times A, and you see the symbol here, and then you are going to find out determinant. See guys, multiplying k in any matrix, like in A, it means you are actually doing k power n in the determinant. Get the difference? you are multiplying k in the matrix symbol A. It means what? Actually, you are multiplying k in every row. Or you can say you're multiplying k in every column. So n rows are there, so that's why k power n is coming. So this property may confuse you. What is the meaning of this? Meaning is k a. It means you are not multiplying k in a row of a matrix. You are multiplying this k in the entire matrix. It means what? In every element of the matrix, you have multiplied the k. So for the single matrix, what was your, sorry, I'm using the word matrix. Don't use the word matrix, just blabbering. You should use determinant. So for single determinant, if you're finding out the value of the determinant, so whatever value will come in that value, you'll multiply k power n. Then only they will be equal. Okay. Now, changing the page, next property. In next property, you take down like this. Suppose, take down in determinant, the sum of the products of the elements of any row bracket or any column with the cofactors of corresponding elements of any row or column is equal to the determinant value. So this is nothing but the way we used to find out determinant. How do we find out determinant? We simply, suppose in determinant is given, any determinant is given, like, and you want to find out value of this determinant. What is the procedure? Either you choose any row or you choose any column, and then you keep on taking the elements and you keep on multiplying with their cofactors. Don't be confused. Minors are different and cofactors are different. To find out cofactors, we use minor. In a particular cofactor, you have to take care of -1 power I plus j format. Okay. So with the help of minors, we will find out cofactor. Now that cofactor you will multiply in the particular element of a particular row. So it is nothing but the way we are regularly find determinant value, that is the same thing. It means what? If I will make sure what is going on, I will change the page. So just after this mathematical notification, you can give like this. Suppose you are choosing A1 element, like suppose you have matrix here and you have A1 element here, and then you have suppose B1 matrix here, and then suppose you have C1 matrix here, I mean C1 element here. So, and here you have A2, B2, C2, and here you have A3, B3, C3. So for this matrix, if you are write down here A1, suppose I am choosing this one. So for A1, I am giving its cofactor symbol as capital A1. Get my point? Capital A1 is nothing but minor A1, means the minor of that location, into -1 power 1 plus 1, correct? This is how we have discussed in last class. Then plus, see, I am choosing this row. In that row, I have 3 elements. So for every element, I will multiply with their respective cofactors. So B1 into B1 and C1 into C1. So A1, B1 and C1, they are cofactors of A1, B1 and C1. Done. Now you see, they are saying if you are finding out this, then it would be equal to the determinant value. That is known as determinant value of this. Other than this, suppose you are writing A1, but you are multiplying this guy with the cofactors. Suppose you are writing A1, but you are multiplying with the cofactor A2. What is A2? A2 is nothing but the cofactor coming by A2, small a2. Plus, suppose you are using B1. I mean same row you are using, but cofactors are different. B2 plus C1, C2 is equal to 0. Now you get the difference. Here A1, B1, C1 are multiplied with their own cofactors. But in this equation, A1, B1, C1 are not multiplied with their own cofactors. They are multiplied with the cofactors of the second row. That's why answer is coming 0. And not only this, whatever, if you change the cofactor, answer will not match. You can make anyone. Suppose I am making like this. Suppose I am making A2, A2 plus B2, B2 plus C2, C2. Then my answer will not come 0. Then it will be equal to determinant. But if I will write A2, but I'll write A1 here, then B2, then I will write B1 here, then C2, then C1 here, then answer will be 0. Why? Because I am using the elements of second row, but I am using cofactors of first row. Okay? Take down this. Okay, now I will give you one very good property of determinant. Change the page. First, you take down the statement of the property. I think this will be 7th or 8th property. You just check. I think this will be 7th property. So in last class, you have you have to count the property. I have given, I think, 2 or 3 properties in the last class, and remaining I'm giving now. So if to the elements of a row or column also, or column, if to the elements of row of a determinant now elements of a row, we have to add so many times with any other element of any other row. I mean to say that if to the elements of a row of a determinant are added, suppose m times the corresponding elements of another row and of course or column, the value of determinant thus obtained is equal to the value of original determinant. What does it mean? Suppose you have any matrix A and you are changing this matrix A to any another matrix, but by using one operation. What is that operation? You are adding your row of any number, first row, second row, third row, with any other row of any other number, with any constant number, like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so if you are doing this operation, then you will be getting a new look, a new matrix, but it will not affect the determinant of this matrix. Both will be equal. Okay, so it means what? If you have any matrix given which looks like there is matrix A, and in this matrix A, whatever rows are given, I am choosing any one row and I am adding that row with any another row. Whatever times you want to add, you can add, no problem. And then you are getting another matrix B. So look of the matrix will not match with look of A. Looks will be different. But of course, when you will be finding out, then when you will find out det of A and det of B, they will be same. That is the idea. The determinant will not change. Look of the matrix will of course change. And the same thing will be followed for the columns also. So you can write, if you are adding any number of column with any other number of column with any constant number, then also your det of matrix A and det of new matrix is going to be same. When I'm saying det means the determinant of the matrix. Okay. Now we are going to see one very important property. I will change the page. Property is, suppose you have any matrix A. Now this matrix you are multiplying with itself like n times, like one matrix multiplied again with same matrix, determinant guys, again I'm blabbering, it is determinant. A is representing any determinant now. So A power n you are multiplying so many times. Same matrix you are multiplying so many times. Okay. And after the multiplication, you'll be getting a final matrix. Okay. Now, if you are finding out modulus, if you are finding out the determinant of the final matrix, then that answer will be determinant of the single matrix power n. This is important. And another one, if you have any matrix A, first you find out inverse of that matrix and then you find out determinant. So this will be equal to find out determinant of that matrix in the beginning itself and then take reciprocal. They both will also be equal. It means what? Determinant works in this way. Determinant works in this way. Okay. And of course, if you have, you can prove all these things. Yes, Gautam, ask it out. No, it is not a reciprocal of matrix. It is reciprocal of determinant. It means what? If any matrix A is given, for example, if A is given like 1, 2, 3, 1, or something. So find out determinant of this. How do you find out determinant? It will come some number, right? Some 2 or 3 or any number will come. That number you write here. It is the determinant. It is the determinant. Okay. Now we go for next one. Now you see, you know that how we can prove actually these properties by using a simple property of matrix. That property is 2 matrix A and B you are multiplying and then finding out determinant. So you can, this answer will be equal to separate multiplications. You find out determinant of the first matrix, then second matrix, multiply together. That answer will match with this answer. Okay. Now you see the last property of matrix, and this property is very, very interesting. I'll change the page. Suppose the last property. We are going to use a fact. Using a fact. What is the fact? That when you have any matrix A, and if this matrix A you are multiplying with its adjoint A, any matrix A is given, you find out its adjoint A and you are multiplying both the matrix. So this will give you the determinant of the matrix. Okay. And this will come with multiplication of I also. If we are comfortable with this nature, then we can develop this formula. But actually, no need to go till here because this much we don't have to worry. Now adjoint A you are finding out for any matrix, and for the adjoint A you are finding out determinant of that matrix. Then this will be nothing but determinant of single matrix only one time. Just go for power n minus 1. See the difference here. A is any given matrix. You are finding out adjoint A for that matrix. Now, how do we find out adjoint A for any matrix? Again, we have two different concepts, right? First, you have to find out all the cofactors, and those cofactors you have to replace with their elements, and then you have to find out the transpose of the matrix. Then only you can find out, and then after doing this much, you divide the matrix with its determinant. Then only the new answer will give you adjoint A. Now, after getting adjoint A is a new matrix. After getting adjoint A, you again find the determinant of that new matrix. So that determinant will be nothing but determinant of your original matrix whole power n minus 1. So if you know this trick, then no need to go this much. Directly you can apply this trick in GATE exam. Now, if you are putting, yes, n cross n, this n represents, like we have a square matrix of n cross n. Yes. This n represents order of matrix, that my matrix is n cross n. Okay, now see one more thing. What if in GATE exam they are giving adjoint A one more time? Suppose I'm giving one more property here, like adjoint. Actually, I should not write small a. It is not the symbol. Correct symbol is A, D, J, then A. Okay, so adjoint of adjoint A. Then if you're this A you put in bracket so that you should not have any confusion. and you can put one bracket here also. So adjoint of adjoint A, if you are going to find out, then you see how long the procedure will be. So no need to go for any procedure, you go for trick. Simple trick is, when we were looking for adjoint A matrix and its magnitude, then we had this answer. Now we are going to have adjoint of adjoint A, then for the same answer you go for square. Simple. So n minus 1 square you put here. So your answer will be, I will write the answer. You put equal sign here and then I am writing answer here. Single matrix A, determinant of that single matrix, and then whole power n minus 1 we were getting already. Now square this answer. Only put square here. Because adjoint A is coming 2 times now, so this part only is being square. I mean this part only is being square. Don't square the entire answer. That's all. Now we will learn some tricks to find out inverse matrix quickly. Already we have seen in the last class little bit idea. Yes, ask your doubt. Okay, in that case we cannot discuss this. That will be like because here we are dealing with determinant. This A is actually representing determinants. Okay. Now determinant concept, basic concept over. Now we are coming back to the matrix part. Okay, till now in this lecture whatever I have taken, today's lecture, it was everything about determinant. Now we are jumping back to our matrix. Changing the page. Now see, in matrix our very important topic is inverse of matrix. Now when we are finding out inverse of matrix, we have already seen that A inverse formula is nothing but find out adjoint of your matrix, whatever matrix is given, then divide that with its determinant. Now if especially we will look for the especially we are going to look for the square matrix, because mostly they ask questions for a square matrix. So now heading is, how do you find out adjoint of square matrix? So if you want to find out adjoint of square matrix, we have discussed this. Adjoint ADJ, adjoint of matrix is nothing but you have to find out cofactor matrix of the given matrix, COF I am writing here, and then you do transpose. This total new matrix will be adjoint A. Correct. What is the properties in this? What kind of question we can expect in this? So just I will write one property that will be important here in the case of adjoint of square matrix. If A be any n road square matrix, then adjoint of the matrix, if you multiply with the same matrix, then you can do opposite also. Opposite means A you can multiply with A adjoint A. See, actually in case of matrix we don't change our order, but because we are targeting a square matrix, so a square matrix will be n cross n, I mean 2 cross 2. So even though if you will change like this, does not matter. 2 cross 2 means 2 cross 2, both side 2 cross 2 will come. So we are free to change the order, and whatever answer will come, that answer is nothing but, if they're asking like this, simple, very simple answer. You just find out determinant of the matrix and then multiply with your identity matrix. Means what is identity matrix? It depends what kind of order we are using for A. Suppose if I'm using A for 3 cross 3, then your identity matrix will take automatic form of 3 cross 3. It means after getting the determinant of A, you have to multiply the entire answer in 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. Okay. This IN is what? This IN I will write here. What is this IN? Suppose I am considering that my A was of 3 cross 3. That's why my IN will look like 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. So the answer what you are multiplying here, that answer you will multiply only here, here and here. So that will be the answer for adjoint A into A. And make sure we are dealing matrix now. Now when you have properties for inverse, so from that those properties also they can ask the question, direct questions they can ask from the properties. So I'm changing the page, take down heading as properties. Actually matrix portion, like linear algebra portion, it is lengthy portion because we have so much detail. Other chapters are not like this, other chapters are more interesting. Properties of inverse. So you see, if you multiply any matrix with its inverse, or if you multiply inverse of the matrix with same matrix, then you are going to get I. I means identity matrix. Next, if you have A and B, these two are given, and now one more thing is clear, that A and B are inverse of each other. It means what? When you are finding out A inverse, you are getting B, and when you are finding out B inverse, you are getting A. It means they are inverse of also each other. Then if you multiply A with B, then you are going to get I, because these two are nothing but the same thing. Here A inverse is the inverse of A, so here B is inverse of A, and A is inverse of B. So if you multiply like this, you will be getting 1. 1 means identity matrix. Now here third point, you see, in third point, if you have any matrix AB, and if you inverse the matrix in this order, then order will change. It will come as B inverse, A inverse. And of course, if you have the 3 multiplication like ABC and you have whole inverse, then completely order will change, like C power minus 1, B power minus 1, A power minus 1. Okay. Then I'll one more property you understand. What is non-singular matrix? You know, when you are finding out that it should not be equal to 0, then we say it is non-singular matrix. So suppose you have any matrix which is non-singular. So for that you can write the property. So if you are finding out transpose of the matrix first, and after finding out transpose, you are doing inverse of the matrix, then this is nothing but you can replace this with this. It means in your matrix, first you do inverse and then find out transpose. They both will give you same answer. But we have a condition. Condition is it should be non-singular, because for singular matrix you cannot find inverse because it will make sound like 1 by 0. So it is not possible. So for singular matrix we don't do inverse. Only for non-singular matrix we do. Okay, same thing will happen if we are looking for theta. Same thing, just a small notation you can change here. In case of conjugate matrix we have theta, so theta also you can shift like this, A power theta minus 1. Now I am giving you, yes, B position. Actually B position will not change. Actually see, this is ABC in this way, so now you have to write in opposite way. So I'm writing in opposite way. Of course, because it is the middle term, so middle term will be at the same place, right? Okay, now you see one small trick. That trick will help you a lot in GATE exam. That trick is, only if you have 2 cross 2 matrix, then immediately how can you find out inverse of 2 cross 2 matrix? So for that, change the page. Trick. Suppose you have any matrix given A, and just imagine it is A, B, C, D, and you are looking to find out A inverse. Then best trick is, see, can we find out determinant of the matrix easily? Yes. How can we find out? Multiply D here, so it will be AD, multiply C here, so it will be minus BC. Okay, now whatever answer you have got, this answer, you just take down the matrix here. In this matrix, you replace the values of A and D and change the sign of C and B. It means what? D here, A here, and B and C will be as it is, but you have to change the sign, minus put, and whatever matrix you got, in that matrix, you divide with this answer. So directly you can get A inverse for 2 cross 2 matrix. Otherwise, if you will not apply this procedure, then what is your formula? What is your thing? You have to go find out cofactors and replace the cofactors, then find out adjoint A and then divide by the same thing. Actually, this is nothing but it is the same procedure. But don't take this in the procedure way. Take this in a trick way. Like for example, if I am giving you one small matrix, A is equal to 1, 1, minus 1, 3. So very fast you should be able to select A inverse answer. So how can we perform A inverse answer? We have to do only 2 steps. First you go for to find out determinant of the matrix. That is nothing but A into D, means 1 into 3. 1 into 3. Then put minus sign, this into this. So plus 1. So it will be 4. Now in case of A inverse, what you have to do? You have to change your this given matrix like this. Means matrix is here. You replace 1 and 3. So 3 will be here, 1 will be here. And you put minus sign here and here. So it will be plus 1 here and minus 1 here. Correct? So no need to write plus. Now in this matrix, you have to divide by 4. Divide by 4. Simple. So it means what? 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4, 1 by 4 and 1 by 4. This will be your final answer. Now we have very important topic. You can say that that is the main topic for matrix. That is known as rank of matrix. And we are remaining with rank and eigenvalue, eigenvector, echelon form. These things are the remaining topics of this chapter. Okay, or I'm going back. Take down. Gaurav, ask your doubt if you have any doubt. Done? Okay. Okay. Now we'll start rank of matrix. I will change the page. It is very important topic. Rank of the matrix. Now first very important point. No need to take as a point. Simply take rank is defined for any matrix of any order. Means need not to be a square matrix. Means sometimes if you are being confused in GATE exam that rank we cannot find for GATE square matrix. No, we can find out rank for any kind of matrix. We have procedure for that. So actually if we say that I have a matrix and for the matrix I have rank 2, then if I'm saying that I have a matrix and rank of the matrix is 2, what is the sense of that sentence if I'll say rank of the matrix is 2? Okay guys, you guys try to tell me if you have some memory remaining from your college days, what is the meaning of rank? Like if I'm saying that rank of the matrix is 2, then what does it mean? Very good. Absolutely. Not only row, it can be column also. Very good, very good, very good. Absolutely correct. So actually, when we are looking for the rank of the matrix, then first thing, what rank will represent? It will represent how many number of independent rows or column you have. Totally independent. It means what? If you are doing any one type of change, then it is not a, yes, I have a chat here. Let me read the chat. Of course, non-zero. Of course, absolutely right. Non-zero rows or columns. It means what? Any row or any column, any row with any other row, you cannot operate to make it completely zero because they are independent. So, like for example, if I'm writing a row 2, 4, 6, and I'm writing a row, just multiply 2 here, so you'll be getting 4 multiply 2 here 8 and multiply 2 here 12. So I'm writing like 4, 8, 12. This is my first, this is my second row. Now, are they dependent or independent? So suppose I have a matrix with this, only this guy is there, these two rows are there, and I want to know what is rank of the matrix. So we'll check they are dependent or they are independent. So actually they are dependent. So if they are dependent, then there are some procedures. there are some procedures we have to check whether they are dependent or not, they are independent or not, and what will be the rank, and what are the basic procedures to find out rank, what are the smart procedures to find out rank. Okay, so because it is a new topic and meeting is about to over, so I'll cancel the meeting, you guys join again. Okay, so first we'll take down some important concepts. Rank is very serious topic. Rank is very serious topic, so we have to understand this very properly. So in that, first I will teach you there is something called submatrix of a matrix. What is submatrix of a matrix? So for that, suppose A is any given M cross N type matrix, then matrix obtained by leaving some rows and some columns from A is called submatrix. Suppose you have any matrix A, and in this matrix you have A, B, C, P, Q, R, X, Y, Z, L, M, N. So suppose I am leaving this row, at the same time I am leaving this column. So whatever portion is remaining, that portion I will call as submatrix. So if this portion I will represent as, suppose I am representing a B. Okay, so B is submatrix of matrix A. So small concepts we will collect, and we will understand rank very well, because after today should be your last day for rank of matrix. After today's class you should not have any doubt in rank portion. Okay, rank of matrix is very important topic. Once the rank is clear, then easily we can understand eigenvalues, eigenvectors. Okay, change the page. Now you see, let's go for properties. So rank of matrix and properties. So in that, you take down first property. There is at least one square submatrix of A of order R whose determinant is not equal to 0. It means what? Don't take note, just understand. Suppose you have any matrix A given and you have all the elements present. Okay, now suppose if you are finding out the determinant of the bigger matrix by choosing this row, suppose that answer is coming 0. Suppose you are finding out by using only this much for the submatrix. Suppose you are considering a submatrix. That submatrix you are considering only this much. Now in this submatrix you are finding out, and again remember, determinant we find only for square matrix. Okay, so you have to consider square matrix. Suppose you are considering a square matrix and you are finding out that for that square matrix also you are getting 0. So anywhere, we are not sure where, anywhere you will be having a square matrix. For that, that's what we are discussing here. There is at least one square submatrix. Why to bother about square matrix? So that we can go for determinant. And what is submatrix? That is the concept of rank. There is at least one square submatrix of the given matrix A of order R. It can be any order, right? Because it is square matrix, so it can be order of n cross n, 2 cross 2 cross 2, 3 cross 3, whose determinant is not equal to 0. Okay, then you go for second point. If the matrix A, it means the given matrix, contains any square submatrix of order R plus 1 and above, then determinant of such matrix should be 0. I will explain what does it mean. You see here, this R is the possible smallest matrix. For this submatrix, your determinant is not 0. So other than this, if you choose any order, so for that your matrix will be 0. I mean your determinants will be 0. If the matrix A contains any other subsquare matrix of order more than R, which is R plus 1, or you can say R plus 2, R plus 3. Like in this point, you get my point. Suppose there is a matrix present in this bigger matrix and the value is 2 cross 2. For this 2 cross 2 matrix, we are able, suppose this is the matrix. Suppose this is the matrix. In this small matrix, which I am saying as sub matrix, order is 2 cross 2, and this is not giving you 0. This is giving you non-zero. But it means what? Other than this, if you choose any other square matrix bigger than that, then for that case, determinant of such matrix should be 0. So you choose any other matrix which is not this, then for sure you'll be getting determinant 0. I hope it's clear. Now we'll go for some notes so that we can jump for the numericals. Now you take down. First note. First note. The rank of a matrix is less is equal to R plus 1 minus, okay, I have to take down this. Rank of a matrix is, I am writing here, less is equal to R, less is equal to R, less is equal to R if all R plus 1 root minors of matrix vanish. I'll explain an example. Means, first you understand the logic of this. Suppose you are finding out rank of the matrix. So that rank of the matrix will be either R or it will be less than R. Either equal to R or it will be less than R. But what is our job? We have to make all other, like in R plus 1, whatever minors are coming, they all we have to make 0. I will explain in the example, then it will be more clear. Vanish. Just wait for the examples. I'll explain the example. Now take down one more note. The road, R-O-W-E-D, it is road. The rank of matrix is, now this time, more equal to R if there is at least one R road minor of the matrix which is not zero, Now some serious cases going on, so you should have an example immediately, otherwise it will be difficult to understand what's going on. I totally understand this, but first I want to give all the notes. After that, when I will take the numerical, then I can link here note 1, note 2, like that. I'll change the page. Take down your next note. The rank of transpose of a matrix is same as of the original matrix. It means what? Suppose you have any matrix A. For this matrix, you have any rank R, 2 or 1 or 3, anything. So this will be equal to the rank of the transpose matrix. Now, suppose next one, rank of a matrix is same as the original, is same as the number of linearly independent row vectors in the matrix. As well as the number of independent column vectors in the matrix. Now suppose you have okay, I'll change the page. Take down, then I'll change the page. Okay, now suppose what is the idea behind this? Suppose you have find out that okay, I have a matrix. In this there is a technique. I will explain the technique. You have some rows and you have some columns, and you got that there are two rows. They are independent of each other, but there is only one column which is independent of each other. I mean, which is independent than others. So there are two now. One is 2 and one is 1. So there are two rows. They are independent of each other, and there is only one column which is independent, which is not depending on anything else. Or to make this simple, more suppose there are two rows which is independent of each other, and there are 3 columns, they are independent of each other. So in that case, we will go for the minimum value. So for that you take note. Just take note E. For any matrix A, rank of the matrix A is nothing but either less than or equal to the minimum of Mn. In M and N, I mean in the row and in the column, whoever is the minimum, your rank will be minimum than that value. See here, minimum sign is also there and equal sign is also there. Either your rank will be equal to the minimum value or it will be less than the minimum value. So in my example, if I have 2 rows, they are independent of each other. By some technique we have got that. I have to teach the technique, just wait. And there are 3 columns, they are independent of each other. So I got 2 and 3. Now out of this 2 and 3, I have minimum. Who is the minimum one? This 2 is the minimum. So your rank will be either 2 or less than 2. So equal sign is here and less than sign is here. That is the maximum maximum rank of A m cross n is equal to minimum of m n. Now you see guys here, some students may think that what is this mn? Actually there is a function called min. In min function, when you put two numbers, suppose 0 and 1, then automatically this total answer will be 0. If you are putting here suppose 10 and 11, then automatically this answer will be 10, because this minimum is a function. Okay, it is not simply a minimum, it is a function in mathematics. Like if you have sine, if you put 90 here, then automatically answer will be 1, because sine is a function. In that way, minimum is a function which gives the minimum value stored next to this. So we have two values, they both are separated by comma. So out of this you have a minimum, so automatically the minimum answer will come. So rank of any matrix is less than or equal to the minimum value of these two, right? So what can be the maximum value of rank? Of course that is equal to the minimum value, because either less or equal. So equal to this, that is the maximum value of the rank. Okay. Now suppose you have next one. Now suppose you have one matrix A and you have another matrix B, and you multiplied both. So you have two choices now. I am going to find out rank of matrix AB. So it will be less is equal to rank of A, or it will be rank of AB will be less is equal to rank of B. Now we will check, two possibilities are there. This is also possible, this is also possible. So in both the ranks, which rank is minimum? It means what? Rank of AB will be either less or equal to the minimum value out of rank A and rank B. So if suppose rank of A, there is A is in a matrix and you got rank as 2, and B is in a matrix, you got rank as 3, and you multiplied both the matrices. After multiplication, I am bothering about the rank. So according to this, rank should be less than or equal to A, so possibility is either less than or equal to 2. According to this, rank should be less is equal to B, so possibility is 3 or less than 3. So out of these two, we should go for the smallest one. Okay. Now how will you know that how many in the given matrix, how many rows or how many columns are 0 or something? So we have operations for that. So those operations we will do, and we can find out that there are some rows or some columns, they are 0 or non-zero. So you might be aware of these kind of operations we used to do in our basic classes, right? In engineering also, and in 11th 12th classes also. So that same thing we have to perform here. So there is something called echelon form, and echelon form is very important form. Already I have done a video only for echelon form, especially for echelon form. So actually that is very important. So now I will give you some notes about echelon form, how to work on echelon form. So I'll change the page. You just write one statement. The last note you write as H note. Rank of a matrix is the number of non-zero rows in its echelon form. Spelling of echelon is ECHELON. ECHELON, echelon form. It means what? If you want to find out rank of any matrix, then you have to convert that matrix in its echelon form. Now, for whenever you are converting any matrix in its echelon form, that is the best way. Without doing mistake, you will be finding out the exact rank. There are two ways to find out rank of the matrix. I will tell you. One is what we call as conventional way. What is the conventional way? use echelon form. And if someone is doing very good practice, then echelon form is the best. You will not do mistake if you are following the echelon form. Your answer will come absolutely correct. And another way is like tricky way, or you can say smart way. So here some students may do mistake. So mostly you should practice to convert any matrix into its echelon form. I have to teach what is echelon form. I will teach very soon. Get my point? What is the another way? Another way is some numbers will be written here in first row and in second row and in third row. Then we will try to check that whether these two rows are somehow connected or not. Maybe, well, just what kind of connection you have to check? Suppose this is the row R2 and suppose this is the row R3. Then a smart way is you just try to check whether R2 or R3 they are attached, linked with each other by some scalar number. I mean R2 is some times of R3 or R3 is some times of R2. Okay, or they have any kind of linear relationship. What is linear relationship? Like R2 is some times of R3 but with the addition of any constant number. Or same thing, R3 is some times of R2 but with the addition of some number. Okay, so in that case, if we are able to understand, okay, these two are connected, then you also check whether these two are also connected. It means if these two are connected and these two guys are also connected, it means what? These two lines, I mean somehow I can make this line 0. Completely row I can make 0 because I got to know that, okay, here I can find out, I can subtract or I can add or I can do something so that my R3 will be completely 0. What is our main approach? Either you go with the echelon form concept or you go with this concept, like tricky way. In both the cases, our main intention is to check how many rows are non-zero rows, or how many rows are or how many columns are non-zero columns. Because rank will represent that only. For example, when you are solving the matrix into its echelon form, then you will land to your final answer. Suppose your final answer after converting into echelon form will look like this: 0 0 0 0 here, then 0 0 0 0 here, then maybe 0 0 minus 1 1, then maybe 1 0 2 1. These kind of answers are coming after converting into echelon form. So you can clearly see this 0 completely. So here these two rows are remaining, so rank is 2. So this is one way, that is called echelon form. Echelon form is the procedure where we convert. In Chennai it is from last few days continuously it is raining, but thank God I have stable power. Okay, I just lost the focus. Okay, no problem. Padma, you are from Chennai, right? Oh, Ashwin, you are from Chennai. Balaji, you're from Chennai. Anyone? Gautam or anyone? Okay. Gautam, you are from which place? Bangalore. Okay. Fine. Okay, I'll change the page now. So I have to teach you how to convert any matrix into the echelon form. Actually, if we learn this technique, then I will suggest you in GATE exam also you follow this echelon form concept. I'll go ahead. So there is a procedure to convert any matrix into its echelon form. So we have to note down the procedure and then we'll do some operation to find out echelon form. Okay, take down. Heading will be ECHELON, echelon form. So a matrix is in echelon form if there is a condition. First condition: leading non-zero element in every row is behind leading non-zero element in previous row. Means, suppose you have a matrix. In this, suppose here you have some element present, suppose 1, -3, 0 and 2, suppose. Okay, now so suppose this is your first row, and now here you have second row. So in second row you get this statement here, leading non-zero element. It means what? There is possibility that your first element is 0. There is possibility that your first element is 0. Your first element is 0. But if your matrix, if the number is starting from the second position, like here in the second row, your number is starting from this location, then this location must be behind leading non-zero element of previous row. Leading non-zero element. If you see in the first row, this number we call as leading number. This number we call as leading number. All these numbers we call as leading numbers because from here only our row starts. Okay. So we have two types of numbers. Either your leading number can be 0 or it can be non-zero. So condition is, if you are talking about the second row, then in the second row your first number must be 0, so that, and to make this number 0 there is some procedure. Make this number 0, and if with making this number 0, if this number also comes 0, no problem. No problem. Suppose this also became 0, this also became 0, but here you got 2 and 4. Okay, so if here you got 2, then according to this condition, in the third row, here also 0 must come, here also 0 must come, here also 0 must come. Here 0 may come, may not come. Okay, because if the leading element, you see here leading element is 0, here 0, 0, but we are talking about leading non-zero. So suppose here leading non-zero is coming. So this leading non-zero must be after this 2. This 2 must be after this 1. Somewhat clear? Suppose, just a minute. Take down other properties. We have to do numerical, then only we can be more clear about this. But take down first all the notes. Okay. All the 0 rows should be below all the non-zero rows. Means, suppose we are doing any operation. So in that operation, our objective should be to make first this this row 0. Suppose you have a matrix with 3 cross 3, then your target should be first make R3 0, then make R2 0. Right? Like that we should, this kind of approach we should have. Okay. Then go for one important point to take. I'll change the page. This definition of echelon form, I'm writing in short EF, gives an alternate way of calculating the rank of larger matrices. Means larger than 3 cross 3. Like if you have 4 cross 4 or larger than that, then easily we can find out if we are approaching echelon form concept. So I will suggest you in GATE exam also, you should follow echelon form concept. So you will not do mistake. And more easily, we can do more easily. Now, to reduce the, actually why the statement is important to write, because in future you will forget the procedure. That's why I'm giving this statement. To reduce the matrix, calculating, to reduce the matrix to its echelon form, use Gauss elimination method. Okay, on the matrix and convert it into upper triangular matrix, which will be in Gauss, GAUSS, which will be in echelon form. I will explain what kind of approach we should have to make echelon form. Done. I'll change the page now. One last statement you take down. Elementary operations will not change the rank of matrix. Now, second one, the last one. Only null matrix will have rank of 0. What is null matrix, guys? All the elements are 0. Only for this matrix you will be having rank 0, or you will be having rank 1, 2, 3. Always remember, rank represents number of rows or number of columns which are non-zero. So that's why they are physically present in the matrix, correct? So rank can never be negative, or rank can never be in fraction, because it will represent the rows or columns being independent, right? So that's why it is a physical body. It is representing kind of physical body. So it cannot be in fraction, or it cannot be negative. But it can be 0, but only for null matrix. So if null matrix is coming directly, you can say, okay, 0, rank is 0. It means what? In most of the matrix, your answer will be either 1 or 2. If the matrix is given, of 3 cross 3 matrix is given, so easily you can say your rank is 1 or 2. Now, I will give you some ideas, and so that we can tackle about the rank. I will take one example. Suppose I am writing any simple example. A 1 1 0, make it 2. 1 minus 1 3, 0 1 4. Now I am interested in to find out rank of the matrix. So what should be our procedure? Our procedure is, first you make this element 0, then you make this element 0, then you make this element 0. This should be your approach. Like, let's do this element 0. But once you are making this element 0, then in next operation, make sure when you are making this element 0, this should not get some non-zero. Once this is 0, then you should do operation so that another element only should be 0. This operation should not be 0. So let's make the first row as max as possible with 0 elements. So what should I do so that I can go for this number as 0? Any trick? And once this is being 0, then again we have to think, when we are making this part 0, we should not disturb this 0. So like you can see, I have R1 and I have R3. So if I will subtract both the, it's like if I do R1 minus R3, then I can make this 0, right? So let's do R1 minus R3. So after doing R1 minus R3, 1 1 2, 1 minus 1 3 and 0. But see, when you are writing R1 minus R3, then what is happening? This 0 is no more 0. This 0 is no more 0 because it minus 1 will come here, na? Sorry, 1 will come here, na? R1 minus R3 I am doing, and I will write at the place of R3 whatever answer will come. So 1 will come there. Of course this guy will be 0. So that's why we have to keep in mind when we are performing any operation, the previous 0 should not be affected. Okay. So now one thing let's discuss. I am giving a number here. Suppose I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now for this number, for this given matrix, if you want to check rank, so one thing you should make, actually see, I have not completed the theory of rank, that's why I am teaching this, so it may be new for you. You do one thing, you find out determinant of the matrix. If determinant of the matrix is coming 0, then definitely rank of this matrix will not be equal to 3. What is the 3 here? 3 is the order. And you see, in this matrix you have 3 cross 3. Suppose you have any matrix where you have 2 cross 3 or 3 cross 2, then your rank will be lesser than this guy. So out of this, in 2 and in 3, which is less number? 2 is less number. So your rank will be less than 2. And out of this, your rank will be less than 2. Clear? But in this case, you have 3 cross 3. So both are equal numbers. So definitely one thing is clear, that your rank is not going to be 3. Why? It is a condition. So I have not given the condition yet fully. So if you are finding a determinant of any matrix, then easily you can judge your rank is 3 or not. Full rank matrix. If this rank you are finding out, and if this is coming not equal to 0, it means automatically rank became 3. And if the rank is not 3, get my point, if the rank is not 3, then possibilities are either rank will be 2 or rank will be 1. Can rank be 0? No. Rank will be 0 only for null matrix. So now in GATE exam, suppose your options are given that which of the following is the current rank of the matrix. In this case, suppose option is given. So suppose I am framing the option 0, 2, 3, 4. So without solving, you can tick. How? 0 cannot be the possibility. Why? Because 0 is valid only for null matrix. 4 cannot be possible. Why? Because rank will be less than 3. Because when you will find out a determinant of this, it will be 0 actually. So if answer is 0, then your rank will be less than 3. So less than 3, only one option is there, 2. So there are some tricks remaining. I have to teach that trick. So after those tricks, no need to find even rank. Like no need to go into so much calculation. Like in GATE exam, you can just do this by tricky methods. Okay. So it's better if I'll give you all the important points first. Or now we can go for some kind of practice also. Both are possible. If I'll keep on doing this kind of like theory, you'll be getting bored. So let's have some numericals. I'm changing the page. Just a minute, I'm giving a good numerical. Suppose I have a matrix A. In this matrix, elements are 4, 2, 1, 3, 6, 3, 4, 7, 2, 1, 0, 1. This question they asked in GATE 2003. So in GATE 2003 they have asked in 1 mark, and we have to find out rank of the matrix. So options were rank is 4, rank is 3, rank is 2, rank is 1. We have to tell the rank of the matrix. So what should be your approach? You go in the same way. You just convert them. See, you have two approaches. Either you convert them into echelon form, or you go in a smart way. Smart way is just check how many rows are independent and dependent. Then you can easily find out. So let's convert them into see, my approach will be always a basic approach, because smart trick you may have that much time or freedom in class, because tricks are not valid for all the questions. So we'll go for the basic approach. Basic approach is echelon form. So let's convert this into echelon form. You take down this guy. For this guy, if you find out determinant, is it being 0? For this guy, only for this 4 2 1 6 3 4 2 1 0. I'm saying you to find out determinant. How can I do this? Just by using this row you can find out, because in this row you have 0. Okay. Yes, correct. I will just type the answer again. 4 2 1 3 6 3 4 7 2 1 0 7. You see, there are 3 popular approaches. So which approach you guys want to do? You can guide me. Like we have 3 approaches. Either we can go for submatrix method, or we can go for echelon form method, or we can go for basic trick. So okay, one question. Okay, we'll go with one question first. See, actually you can apply the basic trick if you can search the numbers here. You try to search which 2 columns are, or which 2 rows are related. Let me know. Right on the screen. Column 1 is matching with. Very good. So one thing is clear, that here these 2 columns are dependent. We can see, right? It is very easy. Can you see these 2 columns are dependent? Other students can see. If you multiply 2 in this, you will be getting this column, this column. It means what? Your C2 is nothing but 2 times C1. So dependency is there, right? C1 and C2, they are dependent. So they are dependent. What about these 2? Are they dependent? Of course, we can see they are not dependent. So how many independence column we got? 2. That's all, job over. But which kind of views you should have in GATE exam? What if someone is not able to achieve that kind of view? Maybe your brain is not working. For that purpose, we should have some like idea how to convert this into echelon form. Suppose you are not able to convert this into echelon form, then also you have best way. Best way is you have total number of sub matrix. You should know how many total number of sub matrix we have, so that this is like branded method. You will never be fail if you are applying this method. Actually, it is heavily raining here. You see what is the method here? You go for minors, possible minors. You see this is one sub matrix possible, 4 2 1 6 3 4 and 2 1 0. Now for this matrix, find out determinant. So go for determinant purpose. So use this row and find out determinants faster. So this determinant will come 0 for sure. Now you go for, I know why 0 will come, because our answer is not 3, our answer is 2. That's what I'm saying. Now you see, if answer is coming equal to 0, then definitely your determinant is, your rank is not 3, because this is 3 cross 3 matrix, na? So definitely your rank is not 3, it is less than 3. But if this is not 0, then your rank is 3. Okay, but right now if you'll find out this, now see, I have checked only one submatrix. We have 3 more submatrices here. One submatrix we can consider this guy. I mean, see, in this matrix I have column 1, column 2, column 3. Now in another matrix I will be having column 2, column 3, column 4. So 2, 3, 1, 1, 4, 0, 3, 7, 7. This submatrix. If you will find out, again you choose this row because here you have 0 present. Now if you find out determinant, again the answer will be 0. Okay, now see, this submatrix I got by this. This submatrix I got by this. I mean C2, C3, C4. Now I will make one more submatrix. In that submatrix, I will change the page. Okay, no need to change the page. Here. Now see, you take this one and last 2, like 4, 6, 2 and 1, 4, 0. This is 0 here. 1, 4, 0 and 3, 7, 1. Now for this, use this one, 2, 0, 1 and find out your answer. Again, this answer will also come 0. Now the last remaining one is use 4, use 2 and then use the last one. So total number of possible sub matrix I am teaching. So 4, 6, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 7, 1. Now for this, if you will find out, it will be 0. Now see what I am telling you. I am telling you that we are using, like see, C1, C2, C3, C4. 4 columns are there. And one by one we are using all the columns. Or if you are not able to understand in this way, why I am choosing these 4 columns? Because these 4 columns are giving me 4 types of submatrices. So all the possible submatrices I am choosing. So total 4 submatrices are there. Now see, this matrix what is given here, this is 3 cross 4 matrix. So in 3 cross 4 matrix, 3 cross 3 matrices are possible. How many? 4 matrices are possible. Okay. Now because we are getting 0, 0, 0, 0 in all the determinants, it means one thing is sure. One thing is sure means in the 3 cross 3 matrix, definitely there is remaining part 2 cross 2. Now possibility is in this 2 cross 2, how many matrices we have. So now we have to bother about trick. They all are the tricks. They all are tricks. So we have to go for the tricks, and with the tricks we have to search for minors. 2 cross 2 minors we have to try. So how many 2 cross 2 minors are possible? If any 2 cross 2 minor is not 0, then rank is 2. So we have to know one by one. I will erase this. So I have to explain something. In these matrices, what I have taken here, just wait, I am erasing this. Already we have taken matrices here, right? Here, here and here. In this itself, you search all the minors, or you can also go for this one. One minor is possible here. Yes. One minor is possible here. Yes. One minor is also possible here. Yes. One minor is also possible here. Yes. One minor is also possible here. Yes. So by using minor, like for example, you choose 4, 2, 6, 3. The first minor you choose 4, 2, 6, 3. Now what is the answer coming here? 12 minus 12, 0. So this minor is saying your rank is not equal to 2. Bigger minor is saying your rank is not equal to 3. But actually all the bigger minors are saying rank is not equal to 3. That's why I am going to check 2 cross 2 matrix. My rank is not equal to 2 or not. So in that case, I have to check all the minors. So first I took this minor. So in this minor, I got answer 0. So this minor is suggesting me that rank 2 is not possible. But just after that, I have another minor 2, 1, 3, 4. If you check 2, 1, 3, 4, then of course one thing is sure. This minor is not being 0. It means this minor is saying rank is 2. Rank is 2. Clear? Because it is not coming 0. So rank is 2. Done. This process is little lengthy process, but if you apply this process, no doubt you will not do any mistake, because we have to check the minors. I mean determinants of every minor, but it is a lengthy process. Okay. So now how will you think the same question for echelon form? Because solving this question is in echelon form is much better. So see guys, I'll tell you, there are total 3 procedures to find out rank. One procedure is go for submatrix. But submatrix is very lengthy procedure, very lengthy procedure. But if the question you are not able to solve by using trick, then use echelon form. In the last only you should go for submatrix method. So now how will you go for echelon form? Let's understand if the same question we want to solve using echelon form. So 4 2 1 3 6 3 4 7 2 1 0 1. Okay, your first approach is try to make this 0. So how can we make this portion 0? So we can make this portion 0. There are 2 possibilities to make this element 0. First possibility is you can use R1 to make this 0, or you can use R2 to make this 0. So I am using R1. So what I am going to write, I am going to replace my R3 value with with R3 minus R1 by 2. If you will do this procedure, then after this whatever answer will come, that answer you will substitute here, here, here and here. Let's do this. So this is the method to convert into echelon form. So first my first approach is I will make this guy 0, and my second approach will be then make this 0, but make sure this should not be affected. So let's make echelon form. So R3 minus R1 by 2, because I can see here, because this 4 is double of this 2, that's why I will first make half and then I will subtract from 2. So I'll be getting my matrix as I got 0 here. At the same time you have to you have to do this operation into entire row, correct? So for that, this 2 also you have to divide and then subtract from 1. Then you see in single operation I got 0 here also. Now divide this by 2 and subtract from 0. So you got minus 1 by 2. Then you divide this by 2, this by 2, and then make this guy is 0. Is it, divide by 2, so by 2, so it is 1.5. So 1.5, 1 minus 1.5 is nothing but 1 by 2. 0.5. Okay. Now 6, 3, 4, 7 is remaining here, and 4, 2, 1, 3 is remaining here. Now one thing many students may do mistake. Guys, you are dividing this 2 and this 2 and this 2 and this 2 only in this equation. In reality, your first row is not being affected. Your first row will be as it is. The final answer you have to replace in the third row. Now you see guys, in my third row, I got leading 0 elements. Here leading 0, here leading 0. Now my job is to make this guy as 0. At the same time, we will take care the zeros should not be affected. Now guys, tell me, in what way I should go so that without affecting these 2 zeros, I can make this guy 0. Is it possible? Anyone? Is it possible? Anyone help me? Yeah, tell me. आकाश क्या बोल रहे थे? आकाश बोलना. R3 into R1. तो उससे अगर ऐसा करते हो तो ये थोड़ी 0 हो रहा है. Padma, what you are saying? Okay, then let's make row 2 0. So what is the procedure? Advise me how to make row 2 0. And again, in row 2, make sure this guy should be 0. You can make this guy as 0. But there is one possibility, you guys are not looking into that possibility. To make this guy 0. There is one possibility. It's okay. if you're not looking, not able to look, no problem. Now let's make this guy 0. So how can we make this 0? So this 4 is there, you make equal to 6 somehow, and minus from the second row. Means what? I am going to replace my R2 in such a way that I should be able to write R2 minus. Now see, this I have to make 0. How can I make 0? Means in the R2, I should do some changes. I should make 4 here. I mean, I should make this guy as 6. So how can I make that guy 6? In the entire row, I should do some operation. What kind of operation I should do? Divide by 4, multiply by 6. This operation will work, right? R1. Guys, is this operation correct? Right? Because I want 6 here. This 6 I will subtract from this 6. So how will I get 6 here? Multiply 6, but this 4 is extra, so divide by 4. So using this operation, you guys are not able to think that much. Using this operation, we'll do one thing. Just make another matrix. In this already we have got 0 here, minus 1 by 2 here, and 1 by 2 here. After that, this apply this 6 by 4. So 4 will get cancelled, and this is nothing but the final answer will come 6 here. So this will be 0, no doubt. After that, in this 2 you divide by 4, multiply by 6. So you are getting 6 into 2. 6 into 2 is coming how much? 12. 12 by 4 is coming how much? 0. Sorry, 3. So put here 0. Sorry, put here 3. At the same time, don't forget to subtract. So 3 minus 3 will be 0. Now you go for this 1. So this 1 you divide by 4, then multiply by 6. So your final answer is coming as 3 by 2. So from this 4, you subtract 3 by 4. So 4 minus 3 by 2 actually. So it will be 8 minus 3 by 2. That is nothing but 5 by 2. So you write here 5 by 2. Then in this 3, you multiply by 6, divide by 4. So it is cancel by 2. So you'll be getting 3 into 3 by 2. You'll be getting 9 by 2. And then subtract from 7. So 7 minus 9 by 2. So it is 14 minus 9 by 2 finally. So 5 by 2. 5 by 2. We are getting like this. At both the places I got 5 by 2, 5 by 2. Now the upper part you leave as it is. 4, 2, 1, 3 you leave as it is. Now tell me, what can we do next? Any other possibility? Any possibility? Okay, tell me, R3 you want to replace as 5 into R3 plus 5 into 5 into R3 plus R2. Okay. So what changes you are looking for if I am doing this in R3? If you will add both, this part will be 0. Right? Okay, because see, if you will add, because here we got 0 0 and we got 0 0, so there will not be any change in this portion and in this portion. But of course this portion we can make 0 if you are adding this. So once this portion became 0, then after that you just do minus sign, then this portion will also become 0 in the third attempt. If you are doing plus sign, then you are adding this guy with this guy, then you are getting this as 0. But if you do minus sign, then this guy will 0. So same operation you do 2 times. So you will be getting both as 0. Now after getting both as 0, then this is impossible to make these two 0. Any one is 0. It is impossible. It means what? Rank will be 2. So this is the echelon form. Okay. Now, because you have idea now how to go for echelon form, so you should work some examples on echelon form and see. One more thing, one detailed video is there on YouTube. I have made for echelon form, and I have solved some numericals also. In that video, I will give you in the group link. Okay, that is open on YouTube. That video you watch, that is I think for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. That is very well explained video on echelon form. So just after class, you finish that video. It will be very comfortable. You will be very comfortable with the echelon form, and lot of examples I have solved in that. So either you can go for the drive, there you solve some numericals, or directly you go for that video also. Then you will go for better echelon form. You will boost. Okay. It is actually, it is time is crossing. Now we should change our subject. Now we'll go for numerical ability.